Oh, how is it? How is it?
Actually, before we start, I actually want to ask you about your take on about all this motivational, like posts on LinkedIn, like Instagram, or that's going to be my year, and that's it's literally, I don't know why, but this year it's a little bit different. It comes kind of across differently. What do you think?
Do you know what? It's really weird because it's January and I feel like, yes, I've seen all the New Year posts and this year's my year and I'm going to be going big and all that kind of stuff. But normally what I find is the gym is normally the busiest, but I've not seen it yet. So I'm like, where are all the people? Is maybe fitness not on their agenda this year? Maybe I'm going a bit too early to see them. I don't know, but I've not seen that January rush that you normally get from the gym. So where are the people?
I think they're doing a dry January to start with.
Okay.
Then there's going to be, let me
And
get
the
to
gym.
the shape, and then, come on, it's already too late for the summer. I'm not going to get in shape this year, right?
It's so true. I mean, what have you found? Because you go to the gym as well. So have you found that there's been that normal rush in the first month?
I mean, that's my new gym. I mean, it's not like new. I'm there since August, and I would say it's pretty much even.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more people, maybe slightly more. But the funny enough, I've seen repeatedly the same people, and some of them are unfortunately out of shape, and I've been supervising them for like 4 or 5 months, and it's very rarely something changes.
Yeah.
So if they're not working with a personal trainer, even those who are working with a personal trainer, it's kind of like same.
It's so true. I think the intentions are there. I think they make themselves feel better by having the personal trainer, and it's like kind of like a psychological mind thing. But in reality, I feel like sometimes they're just not really going anywhere with it. And sometimes
Can
I
you
can
imagine
frustration of the
the
film
result?
face.
The results without a personal trainer, they would be at least they're the same level, Otherwise, we're going backwards. At least they're not going bigger. They're going smaller, but it's not going
This is
bigger.
true.
Hey guys, I hope we kind of entertain you a bit with this jolly, holy New Year's, Christmas stuff. Let's get to the main topic and
What are we going to be doing today? We're talking about
red
companies,
flags.
right?
Yeah,
Talking
red
about
flags, the
companies.
company, selecting the right company, understanding are you currently in the right company, or maybe it's time for you to make a move, or maybe it's just an excuse for you not to get the proper grind
Yeah,
or flip. I don't know.
grip,
And
grinds, both.
I know
Okay.
you've been talking to some agents from the YouTube channel. They're coming to you. So, what the questions? What are the stories they are bringing with them?
Do you know what? It's been really interesting over the last kind of couple of months, really, because obviously your real estate CRO has really been going since October. So September, October, we launched the channel, and it's been fantastic to see the support, first of all, that I've been getting from a lot of people with regards to feedback with the content that's been put out on the channel. But I'm now starting to find that I'm getting people who are connecting with me who are interested in getting into real estate. And after watching the videos from your real estate COO page or channel, they have a better understanding. And even they're kind of getting the fact that it is commission based and it's hard. So I feel like definitely the channel has helped, I hope, in terms of giving real advice. But the people who are coming to me, they kind of know the expectations already. They're kind of quoting back to me kind of what I've been saying and how it's resonated with them. And they're thankful that I'm actually breaking it down and giving honest truth and not having these rose-tinted glasses. So I feel, I'm hoping that it's doing a bit of good.
Okay. And which questions are they bringing to you in terms of the companies?
In terms of the companies, now it's kind of, for me, they're asking, I've been speaking to companies that have 500 plus brokers. Is this a good thing? Is a larger company better than a smaller company? I'm getting offered a basic salary. Is this something that I should really consider? I've been told to go straight into off plan when I'm brand new and I don't have any contacts. Is this the good route to go down? So these are sort of questions that I've been getting asked. How does the training look? So, how long should the training last for? What sort of things should they be going through with me? If they're not offering me training, is this good? How am I going to learn? Do you guys offer mentorship? I see that in our company, we have a mentor that's mentoring an intern at the minute. Is this something that they can also benefit from? So these are sort of questions that I've been getting asked over the last kind of month or two.
Well, I want to bring up the case from one of my clients from my academy. He reached out to me way before he relocated to Dubai. He is from Belgium.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. He's probably gonna watch it at some point. I'm not gonna say your name. So he reached out to me. He wanted to understand the business a bit better. He does have sales experience. He eventually moved, relocated, and joined quite a big company. I believe they do have on the age of maybe 400, 500 brokers. Big reputation, well known in Europe. I would say British owners, British crowd. And in December, we had a meeting. He asked me for advice because he felt that when you're starting with such bigger companies, you're always going to be put into leasing department. So he felt like the overall culture of the company and overall vibe and the people around him are so different than him. So he just told me I'm surrounded by 22, 23 years old, and like to his perspective, he's 28. So it's, in my understanding, it's not like a big difference. I would be struggling myself, being 45, around 22 years old. He told me that the culture, he was finding it very difficult. And that was, regardless that the company was providing him leads, he closed deals, he was using the CRM system, because again, when the company is that big, they manage for the years and years of existence, create a lot of connections in their own CRM system. Meaning, just brushing through the old leads of the sellers and buyers, you can start making money. But regardless of that, he was considering moving to a smaller company because he felt that he's just a number. He doesn't find them, the company itself, appealing to his, let's say, how he wants to spend the day. And he found that this is really kind of making him less productive.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I feel like I've spoken to a few people like this, and it's kind of true. I do feel the larger the company, the more diluted it does get. Now, I've always worked for big companies. There's no lie, I'm kind of not hiding that. I've always worked for big corporate companies. The company that I'm running right now is probably the first company I've worked for that's a small kind of boutique company. And I really do see the difference that you have when it is a smaller kind of contained business, because everything's more heightened, everything's more alert, everything's more open. And I do feel like actually now I kind of like this vibe, because we've only got a certain amount of seats, in our office, only a certain amount of seats that we have to fill. Once those seats are filled, it's just a case of then retaining and developing and supporting the existing team that we have, because we want a small hybrid kind of focused team that can hopefully have a big slice of the pie, make obviously some good money, benefit from not having to fight against hundreds of other people, but also collaborate and work more exclusively with their teammates. I feel like the larger it does get, like I said, the more diluted it does get. And this is when kind of cracks appear, and sometimes the culture kind of does break down, because you start getting that internal unhealthy competition, where they're fighting over, the properties or the leads or whatever it might be.
Or the pocket listings, because everyone has the same pocket listing, the same area.
Exactly. So, it really just depends on what you want out of the company. I know if you're maybe more of a younger broker, in the early 20s, probably would want to go to a company that's got 500 plus brokers, because that might be the culture that you're looking for. If you're a bit more mature or older, you might be looking for a more smaller company that is a bit more refined and a bit more focused and a bit more hybrid, where you can really kind of get to work with like-minded people and be around, that type of culture, where it's just all about the grind and the work and not about going out to brunch every single weekend. So it really just depends. You have to kind of find that slot that suits you best.
And what you would say going to be a massive 2 red flags for the company not to join it in 2026?
So I definitely feel that you need to kind of find out visas. I think it's always been a huge thing.
Yeah.
How long does it take before they process your visa? They should be doing the visa in the first month, especially, 2 to 4 weeks, they should be processing the visa. If they're telling you they're not going to process the visa until you've done your first deal or, for a couple of months, that's a huge red flag for me. I would also maybe look, there's a few things you can do, maybe look online to check out the reviews on the company. That's a huge thing right now. I think definitely to see the 5-star rating, what they're looking at. There was one company not so long ago, I was checking out the profile because they approached me and I looked at the Google review and this kind of put me off because I think it's a 2.1 or something. It was all below two stars. And I was like, that alone put me off because they had so many reviews. When I deep dived into the reviews, I literally had horror from what the feedback was. So this will give you a good indication of what type of company they are and what service they're giving their clients. So that's one thing as well. Maybe even check on Property Finder, see what type of listings they have, what type of brokers work there. You might even want to do a bit of a call to one of their brokers and find out how they're finding it.
He doesn't pick up.
Exactly, see if they pick up or not. Check out their Instas, socials, see what type of vibe they're going for. If they're not posting at all, that's a huge red flag because why are they not present? So these are some of the things that you can do. If you're talking to the source, one of their brokers, and they're giving good feedback, fantastic. That's all you really need to hear. If you're speaking to one of their brokers and they're not willing to give you some advice, then that's a huge red flag.
At least withholding the information.
Yeah.
Add to that, again, this is my thing from having a different experience and hearing a lot of different experience from the agents that are in my training. You definitely will have to understand what is I would say, like a heritage of the company.
Yes.
And who is in the management.
Yes.
Not to say anything against of any nationality or certain cultures, but it goes without saying that we all have a different type. Like Western culture is very, very different from the Asian culture, and Asian culture will be a little bit different from the Arabic culture. What I mean is, let's say when the company is mainly Asian managed and staffed, those again, it's not me, it's Dutch scientist, I don't want to say social psychologist, Gert Hofstede. He developed this dimension how you measure the culture. So he said that though those type of cultures, including Arabic culture, including Asian culture, they accept that the higher level of society has a different type of permissions, preferences, rules than the lower ones. Mm-hmm. So it's very natural in those type of companies who have this heavily kind of one side influence, that the way you're going to be managed, the way you're going to be treated is the same as everyone else. And then you're potentially not going to have a normal one-on-one conversation. You're going to be told what to do, when to do. It could be raising of the voice, maybe a lot of confrontation. We're talking about Arabic culture. They kind of, oh my God, is this going to be live? That you can expect people get a little bit more personal than they should in communication with you. And if that's no for you, then probably you have to stay away from those type of leadership. And one more thing I want to say to protect the way those companies are managed is actually the right way for those companies and those people. Because realistically, again, not me, Gert Hofstede, he was saying that if you are as a leader coming from the Western world, from UK, from Sweden, from Germany, and you're going to start behaving as you are on the same level, these people are going to stop respect you. So you're not going to be able to manage them because this is not what they have as understanding of the management. You're not going to be a good boss for them. They're not going to like you as much as you think, oh my God, I'm just doing the good for you, but it's actually not, unfortunately.
Agreed with that. Agreed. I think definitely you hit the nail on the head when it comes to the different style of cultures or leaders, depending on where they're from. I mean, obviously, being from the UK, I feel like we're very methodical and process orientated, and we like structure. So, you know, I feel like when you do go to kind of British run companies or managed companies, you probably will get that better structure because we love a process. Where some companies are a bit more just get in and just kind of suss it out and changes week by week, and it's very erratic. So I think you need to find what suits your personality.
I remember when I just started working with the companies and training the companies, I was working with a company which had an Arabic leadership. So the sales and marketing director was one person, and there was 2 sales managers, and 4 of us having a meeting.
Yeah.
So he's just telling them what to do, just da 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 ba 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 da da ba, and they are like listening to that. And they're just like, okay, let's make a plan and let's go. And then everyone stands up, and they're going. I was like, sorry, but the plan.
Yeah, what's the plan? What's going on?
File? Is it just? And they're looking at me just like they were shocked because they were thinking that you just have to say these words, let's make a plan and do the strategy. And that's it, that you have to actually do it. What do you mean? What is this? I was just standing there, I was like shocked. I was like, okay, guys, now I see why we are here.
But Joe, I feel like that again, this is kind of the industry. I feel like this is most of the industry, and you must see it more than anyone because you're going to different companies and you're training different teams and different management teams, and so you must see. We always say that this industry is a bit messy, you know, and I feel like sometimes it's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
And you know, most companies will portray themselves in a certain way, but you actually get behind the scenes and it's just chaotic. So yeah, do you see this when you're going to companies?
I would say that again, from outside looking inside the company, it should be really simple. Why would you just be a normal person?
Yes.
And then when it comes down to the roots, and I'm probably going to extend on your question, it was like why people are not able to do their job.
Yeah.
And what does it mean that they don't understand what should be done? And I can see that, unfortunately, on a daily basis, literally everywhere, is that it's a combination of the very low level of intelligence, very low level of experience, and laziness.
Yeah.
So when it two comes together, you can't be bothered to dig yourself into, why wouldn't I just like be more active? Why wouldn't I find out something more? Well, how I can improve the process? Can I offer some suggestions to my boss? It's more like if the boss not going to ask me, I'm not going to do much.
But why do you think this though? Because I do agree with you. So, you know, I feel I get frustrated sometimes because I see these brokers who are on commission only, and it's not an easy job. You know, it really is not an easy job, and you've got to be a certain type of person to do this job. So I do respect anybody that does come into this industry because it's not an easy thing to do. But what really frustrates me is when these people take it upon themselves to come into this industry, but then they're not doing what they need to do to get themselves to where they want to get themselves to. Again, you must probably see this because you're training these guys. So what do you think about this?
Well, we're going to step out the red flags and we're going to talk about a bit of how to become a successful real estate agent. I think it's not only about the real estate agents, it's literally about anything new that a human wants to try. And, we're going through this, uninformed optimism where everything is like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. It's so easy. I'll have houses. I'm going to move to Dubai, middle of the desert glass. And I'm just going to be successful because my mate is successful and he was worse than me in math or something like this. And when they move in here, then they got kind of informed pessimism. They understand that this is not that easy as they think. And when this excitement of trying something new fades away, this is when they stop.
Yeah.
They stop trying. So they
Yeah.
just 99% of agents just don't want to try. And then they're looking for a salary job. They're trying to move into developer office. They're trying to become a sales trainers, just like, oh, I've been working successfully in the industry, and now I'm going to train and teach people how to sell.
Yes.
I haven't made any money selling myself, but I'm not bad with presenting. Why not? So it's really the same reason why out of 100 people, only certain percentage, like very low one or two, going to become successful overall, because those, they actually keep going when everyone else loses the interest. When that's become hard, they keep going. Because I remember, sorry, I was just when I trained for competition, I wanted I wanted to be in a fitness bikini. Never happened to me. But anyway, I trained for a competition, I had a coach. And the way she was firing me up, because it's kind of more excessive training, right? You train 5 days a week, you're on a very low calorie intake, you have to kind of keep yourself. And the way she kept myself going, when we were doing an exercise and I was like, I'm going to fail, I cannot do anymore. And she's telling me, that girl who's going to be next to you on the stage, she's actually still keep going. And that was for me like, she's doing more than me, reps? No. Oh my God, I have completely different capacity right now.
Yeah.
So if you are a new agent and you feel like, oh my, that's it, no more rejection, I cannot stand it anymore, this is actually the point when this only starts.
Right. Really is. And that's a good answer there. I feel like that's probably the key right there. I think most, they realize once that excitement wears off how hard the job actually is, like you're saying before. And that's kind of when it's kind of fight or flight. And I feel like most of them, okay. And then kind of flip it around then. Let's talk about, obviously, brokers coming into the market and being kind of recruited into real estate. Do you feel that brokers are sold a dream? Do you feel like they're told specifically actually how hard the job is going to be and all the blood, sweat and tears, the roller coaster of emotions? Do you reckon they're told this, or do you reckon they're like, oh, you can earn $1 million dirhams this year? And what do you think?
I posted it on my social media. You've seen it. Had a good laugh about that. I had an onboarding training last week, and one of the future agent, he doesn't have real estate experience yet, but he does have a sales experience. Seems like he was doing good in his job. He was explaining me on answering my question. So why you left it? Have you had a salary? He told me he had a salary, and then the owner of the company decided not to give a quite big bonus. 6-figure bonus by the end of the year. He just kind of canceled it. So despite he was still keeping his commission and the salary, this person decided that he needs to go and have a real estate experience. I had to manage my face because I was around people, and I was like, well, I know that he will find out later that that was not the best decision of his. And then hopefully after that, he will still go through the pain and then make it to his million. Recruiters, we love them, as we said. They have to sell the dream, of course, because like realistically, how you can sell this job with being honest. The being honest recruiter on the phone going to be like, hey, look, are you now having a salary? Okay, how much? 10,000 dirhams. Okay, well, you better keep it, because probably in the next 3 to 4 months, that's going to be maximum that you're going to be making. And then, do you have your working hours like 5 days a week, like 9 to 5? So now it's going to be 7 days a week. And if the client is arriving or flying in at 3 a.m. and you want to be the broker who's going to sell him, you have to pick him up at this time and pay for the parking in the, oh, by the way, you don't have a car, so you have to rent for that day. That's how it's. Oh, your manager going to be a complete, who doesn't care about you, potentially might steal a client as well, going to pre-qualify your leads, but in case he's actually stealing your leads.
Yeah.
And you're, what?
Yeah. And you're still coming starting on Monday, yeah?
Yeah. And Saturday mandatory. What do you mean? That's how it is.
But you know what, I feel like for me, when I'm ever talking to a candidate, I break it right down. I want to put them off. If I've done my job, if I've gone through the motions and I've told them, you know, how it really, really is, and they're still interested, then that's fine. You know, but I do feel that, and even my team, my recruitment team, they're really good, to be honest with you. I mean, we've actually just been working on our new recruitment framework. So, you know, how every candidate experience has to be, the questions that we need to ask them, the information that we need to give to them to make sure that they align with us and we align with them. So that's our company values, that's our mission statement, that's all the things that we want to achieve this year, but also making sure that they align with our values and our mission statement as a company. So I feel like by doing this, we're doing them, you know, a good service by being transparent and honest. Then it's for them to really understand if it's for them or not. I would hope by that first initial call that the recruiters have in my company, 10 minutes, whatever it's going to be, both sides will get off the phone and think, okay, that's really good, or no, that's not really good. So by having this, I think this is how it should be done. I'm not sure if every company or most recruiters are working like this, but I do feel like there has to be some element of the rawness.
Disqualification, let's put it this way.
Yes.
Disqualification.
Correct. Because most people are moving countries. They're giving up their salary jobs. They're leaving their homes. They're selling their cars. They're leaving their families. They're coming over here with a dream of making millions from what they've been told. In reality, yes, they could make the millions, of course. But what they've got to do to get to the millions, they've probably not been quite told about. And that's where it kind of breaks down. That's why most people do leave, because they've been sold a dud. And I feel that's probably why there's so much turnaround, because the expectations aren't quite set.
Yeah, well, I can see that we have so many people today talking to us. I believe that's because we were on a vacation for the Christmas. So everyone is already kind of forgot about we exist. So hopefully next Monday, guys, those who are watching this, you will tune in, leave the questions, or you can just leave the questions in the comment to this video. We're gonna pull them out.
Yeah, we'll pull it up
and give them a good.
I did get one question though today.
Yeah.
So let me just grab it up to make sure I get the name right, because it's from somebody's Instagram. So it's Super Agent Karim. He said to us,
What is a super agent? Love it. Love the super agent Karim.
Correct. Hello. So he was asking us thoughts on property consultant role, sales and leasing simultaneously.
I mean, I don't see any problem with sales and leasing simultaneously. I see the problem in off-plan and secondary simultaneously, to be honest. What about you?
I feel that there's no harm in it, of course, but I do feel you're always going to be pulled to one or the other. Leasing's chaotic, leasing's crazy. There's a lot of energy and effort that needs to go into leasing. So yes, you can do it, but it depends on the market that you're working in. If you could be getting 10, 15 leads a day from leasing and you're trying to do the sales and you get pulled back and forth and you're trying to do a sales deal, but you get the leasing through, that's, you know, it might get a bit crazy, but it depends on what type of person you are. But of course you can do two, but I always feel you're going to gravitate more towards what, even in my company, for example, you know, there's no broker, to be honest with you, that's doing both amazingly well.
Okay.
They're doing one or they're doing the other, you know, so it really just depends. It can be a nice little buffer for you. So you can maybe have a few rental listings on there, maybe working in a higher end market, maybe like a higher end villa community. So the leads don't come through as much. So you need the leasing to prop yourself up while you're waiting for your big sales to come in. That's different because you're not going to receive lots of volume. Mm-hmm. But if you work in the mainstream market, then you be prepared to be pulled from pillar to post, because that's, you know, it is chaotic leasing and it does take up a lot of time. the negotiation, the 2, 3, 4 viewings, they're going back and forth with the contracts, the niggly bits you got to. So it can be a lot, but you can do both should you wish to.
I mean, if it's more or less, if it's one location in terms of you're dealing with 5, 6 buildings in the area, or you're dealing in the villa community, then should be doable. Rather than that, again, each and every agent thinks the more I will be able to do, or if I will be put in sales right before the leasing, it is better for me. However, you have to start crawling before you're going to walk, and you have to start walking before you're going to run.
Correct.
And in any business, it's the same, regardlessly if you've been successful in back in your country. I actually had a call last week with a new agent. He's relocating, I think February, first week of Feb. Extremely successful already, doing the wholesale. So he's purchasing, so he's buying the properties in UK, and then, kind of distressed deals, repackage, and then sell to investors. He done well for himself, actually almost retired, and then he understood he's bored. And of course, why should I move? Because he wants to move out of it.
Why not?
So he told me that he selected the company. Actually, I was giving him advice on which one to select. I'm not sure what he actually ended up going with, but one big company gave him immediately opportunity to do sales, and another one, they told him that he can start in leasing only. And then the other one, even bigger, I hope I'm not mixing up the fact. The other one, even bigger, which you know very well, because he was very overconfident with the recruiter. They told him, we cannot offer you anything. I was like, what? They didn't offer you? They didn't send you an offer? I was like, how?
No. Okay.
Yeah. So let's see how his journey will be. He's definitely someone who is coming with a lot of experience, anticipating. I'm just.
What do you feel though? Like, even so, for example, we've got somebody joining my company next week on the 19th. Worked the Miami property market for quite some time, older, in his 40s, mid 40s, a lot of life experience, great guy, to be honest with you. He's joining our company, but he's going into leasing. He's going through the ranks. So with the company that I run, everyone goes into leasing. They've got to do 10 leasing deals or 10 rental deals before they can start selling.
That makes sense.
So that should really take 2-3 months maximum to do 10 rental deals. So by hopefully 3 months, you can start doing sales anyway. But the idea is that I do feel that everybody has to go through that craziness and the chaoticness, which I said before, with the leasing, because it gets you just in that Dubai frame, right?
You will be on the spot with handling objections, changing, finding the new options. That 100% should be there.
At 100 miles an hour, you've got to do it whilst dealing with another 5 leads that are coming in. Plus, you've got 5 viewings to do. Plus, you've got to do 100 calls. Plus, that is just. I mean, I've got OCD, and I found it hard at the beginning to really kind of control myself when it came to methodically working through my tasks. But I loved it because you just chucked in the deep end. So he's cool with that. He actually wants to go into leasing because he wants to learn from the beginning, so he can then give advice to his landlords and his investors. So I do feel like it's a good place to start, But again, if you are going to be starting in a real estate company and you are starting in leasing, just find out how long you've got to be there for, what the terms are.
Is it 10 years or is it like 6 months?
Correct. Because if your goal is to get into sales, what's my path looking like to get me to sales? Okay. Some companies will put you in leasing and leave you there for a year to 18 months. If that's not your goal, how can I get there quicker? What are my KPIs? What have I exactly got to do to get myself to my end result? Because at the end of the day, it's your career, right? So you've got to be selfish. You've got to do what you've got to do, but within their parameters. So always find that out. But I still do recommend people do start in leasing for a short period of time.
Okay, so what are the main takeaways from today's session?
So I think just always watch us on a Monday. That's a given.
No brainer.
No-brainer, first of all. I think definitely if you are looking at joining a company, I think it's super important to just interview them as much as they're interviewing you. I think especially because there's so many companies out there, you want to make sure you know what your career path is looking like. You want to know what their process is for HR. You want to know how their training looks and how it's going to benefit you, and how your first 0 to 3 months looks within that company. That's super, super important for anyone new. And also, I just think that be prepared. Be prepared to work. Be prepared to really kind of just get into it, and don't use the industry for excuses. People always deflect and try and blame the industry or whatever the market. It's you. So start with you. Okay. So set your own KPIs, set your own goals and aspirations, and just make sure that you're achieving them, because this job can give you financial freedom. It can give you a different life. It really, really
for us.
Correct. You know, but it's blood, sweat and tears, isn't it? It's blood, sweat and tears, and a lot of dark times sometimes, but it makes you a better person, I believe. If you learn so much about yourself when you do this job, you learn things about yourself you never thought you knew, and you put yourself in situations you never thought you'd be in, but you grow and you learn from that. It makes you a stronger person. You can tackle anything if you can do this job.
I would add on, that's beautifully said. I would add on that do not lie on the interview.
Yes.
You can maybe adjust the truth. You can maybe say something that I am not there yet, but this is what I want to become, and this is how I'm going to do it, which is definitely going to impress the recruiter. But there's no point for you lying and talking about the deals you never closed.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you bounce inside the team, then everyone will quickly understand that you cannot do it. But you're going to be in a position that you're going to ask for help and advice, and people are going to start looking at you as someone who is just not trustful.
Correct.
And the trust is the biggest commodity you get, specifically inside of your team.
So true. It really, really is. And
it's a bit of,
I think there's not enough of that there. Not enough of that going around. I think people like to talk and not quite walk the walk.
Okay, so we're almost 40 minutes. Should we call it a night?
Yes, I think that's a good place to end. You know, I think we'll be back next week. We'll remind you guys throughout the week that we will be kind of doing the lives, and we will be doing it every Monday going forwards. We will remind you guys. But as always, you know, please pop us, either one of us, questions. We love hearing from you. We love topics to discuss in these sessions. We want to make sure that it's adding value to you guys more than anything. So if there's only one person watching, great. You know, you've got us for a whole hour. So use and abuse us, ask us questions, because this is what we're here for. We want to give you really good value. And that's what it's all about. It's about information and value. And if you can take something away from each one of our sessions, then we've done our job. And that's the main thing.
And maybe you will keep your salary job and get better on the field that you're already in, and leave real estate like a dream of, you know, maybe becoming a ballerina or violinist.
Do you know what I used to play the violin when I was younger? Did I tell you that I used to play the violin when I was younger and I broke the strings because I didn't want to play it? My parents basically forced me to play the violin when I was younger, guys, and I did not want to play it. So I literally broke the strings and I pretended that somebody like vandalized my violin. Oh. So upset. But yeah, little fun fact there.
Yeah, cool. So see you next Monday then.
See you next Monday. All right, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.